Hello and welcome to this week's edition of From the Press Box here on 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College. I am your co-host, Tim Leonard, award-winning sports writer, and waiting for my brother. There he is. We're going to be talking today about football, the NFL. We have a Super Bowl, brother.
We do.
It's in 2 weeks.
We do, and I have to say, brother, starting right off the bat.
Yes, brother. What do you have?
First of all, before we do sports, all you idiots out there.
Uh-oh.
All you idiots driving with the snow on the roof, and the snow on your hood, and the snow in the back of your car. It takes 4 minutes to clean it off.
Not even that long.
4 minutes to clean it off, you idiot. Whoever was driving down Meadowbrook Parkway about 4 minutes ago.
He's being specific.
And the snow is coming off a certain SUV.
It was a Honda, wasn't it?
Whatever. Don't be that idiot that causes accidents on the road because you were too lazy to clean off your car.
Lazy.
That's all I have to say.
Very good, brother. That was a public service announcement.
Yes, it was. It was.
We usually don't start the show with those, but that's all right.
All I have to say is I hate when people do that.
I do, too. I agree with you 100%. That's why I'm glad I don't drive anymore.
You will drive again, brother.
One day.
Soon. You'll have a job where you'll have to drive.
Maybe. We'll see.
No, you will.
Yeah, either that or I'll have a job where I need to take a subway.
I doubt it. Didn't help you today.
So positive, brother. So positive.
Anyway, the NFL is actually, brother, they're happy about this Super Bowl. They are.
Yeah, of course they are.
No.
Okay.
This is something, first of all, Los Angeles, which, the Rams moved there a few years ago, and then the Chargers moved there a few years ago, and they have their new stadium now.
Right.
This is
a $5 billion stadium, by the way.
Yeah, but that's
a lot of money.
Yeah, but I don't know why.
I would like to know the breakdown of who paid for that.
It was half and half, and the NFL paid half.
No, the NFL doesn't pay for any stadiums.
No, they do chip in. Sometimes they did for the what's now known as MetLife Stadium. So just a little bit. It's not a lot, but anyway, the NFL's happy. First of all, the Rams are in the Super Bowl. Here is a team that
Okay. Yeah. Why did they care?
New team, so to speak. Even though it's old, old name, the Los Angeles Rams. They were there in the '60s and '70s. Then they moved. And by the way, St. Louis got a huge payout from the NFL
of course.
and the Rams for leaving before their contract was over.
Right.
So anyway, then you have the Cincinnati Bengals. What was the last time the Bengals were anywhere?
Long time ago. I shouldn't say Kenny Anderson was quarterback. Well, basically, it was Kenny Anderson who was quarterback.
Right.
When Boomer was the quarterback, I don't know. Did they go to the Super Bowl when Boomer was there? Even if they did, it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, it was at least
Boomer played a long time ago.
Yeah. So
that was the last two quarterbacks who had the Bengals relevant. So it's been a long time.
So you have these two teams. Obviously, it's not New England, and it's not
good.
Anything with Tom Brady, which the NFL wouldn't mind either.
We'll be talking about Tom Brady in a little bit.
But at the same time, this is good for the NFL. Yeah, the Rams, who
changing of the guard
a little bit. Also, what the other problem is, brother, is that when you have the same teams all the time, people say, "Oh, okay, didn't I see this last year?" So it's not bad that you have two different teams. Cincinnati's a small market team, really, but in the NFL, small market teams don't matter. Los Angeles, like I said, you get a team that moved back there on purpose. They got this new stadium. They got everything going on. But you know what? They still don't dominate. Them and the Chargers, I hate to say it, but Los Angeles is a college football town, not a football town.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, USC obviously is the big deal in college. I mean, UCLA is okay, but they don't really have the relevance that USC once did.
Right.
They don't anymore. LA is a college. It's a pro sports town, but football they haven't been as relevant because the Raiders came and went,
right.
The Rams were there and went. It's been a kind of a transient home for several teams.
It's also the funny thing about it is it's the number 2 market in the country, and the NFL wanted a team there for years, and finally The guy who owned the St. Louis Rams said, well, I'll move there. Sure, I'll do that. Yeah. You got to give me some money? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the St. Louis Rams were the Los Angeles Rams. So it's not like the guy just like picked up and said, oh, yeah, hey, I'll do it. They were there before.
I know. So what was George's last name, the former owner? Frontieri.
Now it's Stan Kroenke, who he's a carpetbagger. Anyway.
Yeah, he is a carpetbagger. So anyway, that's going to be fun. 2 weeks away. So now it's going to be the 13th of February, which isn't a bad thing. Which, the 17-game season, which means it was 18 weeks overall, pushes it back a week, which isn't a bad thing. The networks like it because they get their Super Bowl in the middle of the whole sweeps month, which is February. Also, you get with the Olympics. The Olympics start in a couple of days in China, and
which is a COVID mess right now.
Yes, it is, but they haven't stopped it. They haven't even thought about it. It wasn't like London where they got all scared. But now it's like, okay.
China, brother, much like Staten Island, doesn't acknowledge that COVID even exists.
Well,
the Chinese government refuses to allow anything to spoil their Olympics, even the deaths of thousands of people.
And they're also telling people not to speak badly of the government.
Of course not. Well, come on.
Like, you're going to see no people on, being interviewed by the press. Oh, yeah, the Chinese here, they've been really bad to us.
Well, never mind that a friend of mine who apparently was asked at the last minute to go work the Olympics. She lives in London. And I told her, I said, don't bring your phone, don't bring your laptop. They will get hacked. I mean, that's what the government is telling everybody. If you go there, bring a burner phone or something,
right?
And as soon as you get home, toss it in the garbage.
Probably,
because every electronic device is going to be hacked. So, but don't speak badly about the Chinese.
Yeah. So, why would you, brother? They're.
I mean, hey, personally, I like the Chinese. I don't like hackers. I don't like wherever they're from. I don't like them. I don't like the prince who sends me email claiming that I've won $20 million. I don't like him either. So, whoever it is, if they're good to me, I'm good to them.
That's great. That's good. That's a good idea. I agree with you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
So anyway, Rams 20, 49ers 17. Another great game, by the way.
You see, brother, you got to look at the notes. Here's the deal.
It's a close game.
Close game, yes. I will give you close game. I will give you even exciting game.
To me, a great game.
Will I give you great game? Absolutely not.
Where it's not 42-17.
That's a blowout.
Yeah, but that's not a game you want to watch.
No, but
2017 is close.
We're both of these games, and we said this. We said something similar last week, which was, were they exciting games? Were they down to the wire games? Yes, absolutely. Were they great games? No, not really.
They're close.
The same thing with the Chiefs and the Bengals. How can you say it was a great game when the Chiefs were awful in the second half? Let's face facts. Patrick Mahomes. Much like, I'm going to use an old George Steinbrenner line, brother. The Chiefs in general, in the second half of that game, they spit the bit. They had that game under control. They got too cute for their own good at the end of the first half, and they should have kicked a field goal. And instead, they decided to go for it with 1 yard to go. And Mahomes throws a screen pass, and the Bengals snuffed it out. So they got no points. Always put points on the board.
It depends. The Rob Leonard method would be, if you're that close, go for it.
Well, then you wind up getting 0. And they were up by 11.
You have a bad team then.
Well, but how important would those 3 points have been at the end of yesterday's game?
It would have been very important.
It would have forced Cincinnati to score a touchdown instead of just kicking a field goal.
Yep.
So 3 points can be very important in a football game.
Oh, I'm not saying otherwise, but you better have your team ready to go for it. I think anything within the 20, with that amount of time left, you got to go for it.
20?
Yeah, 20-yard line. If you're that close to if you're that close.
Why would you do that?
Because if you're that close, you should go visit. Hey, how you doing? We're here to score some points.
Yeah, kick a field goal. Then they would have been up 14 at half instead of 11.
I don't know.
You do that. You make that happen.
I don't know, man. I think a touchdown destroys the mentality of the other team.
And did they score that touchdown?
No, they didn't.
So that not only didn't destroy their mentality, it actually perked them up.
I know that.
Because here come the Bengals into the locker room at halftime saying, yeah, we stopped them. We got these guys. Because the last time they played them, Cincinnati, it happened the same way. Cincinnati came back in the second half. They rallied. So you want to put points on the board. This is a team that has confidence in the second half because they've done it against you in the second half already. And what do? You open the door for them. And like I said, Patrick Mahomes in the second half was awful.
Well, that's
so many bad decisions with the ball, and just this is a guy who is the highest paid athlete in all of sports.
Yeah.
Looked average. Looked. I don't want to say looked like Daniel Jones because nobody's that bad, but looked like a rookie. Looked like somebody who hadn't been there as many times as Patrick Mahomes has been there before.
Okay.
Terrible in the second half. First half, lighten it up. Here's Tyreek Hill. Here, go run. Here's the ball. Go run with it. Hey, Travis Kelce, I'm going to throw you another touchdown pass. Let's go. And all of that stopped with that play at the goal line where Andy Reid, who just gave too much of the game plan to Patrick Mahomes, who kept saying, oh, let's go for it. Well, hey, Andy, at some point, you got to coach your team. You can't let your quarterback make all your decisions. Your quarterback who loves to freelance, who loves to get out there and make things happen, and is actually pretty good at it, but you can't let him keep doing it, and especially when he's not getting it done.
Well, when he's not getting it done, that's when you have to say, okay, you know what?
But he already hadn't gotten one play done earlier in the game.
Okay.
So that's where the coach has to be the adult in the room and has to be the big boy and has to say, yeah, you know what, Patrick, we're going to put points on the board. Because there's 9 seconds left in the half, and we're going to say, all right, you know what, we're just going to kick the field goal.
Yeah, well,
let's do that.
At that point, you have a point there. By the way, brother, forgot to mention one more thing about this whole thing with the Los Angeles Rams and the Bengals.
What else, brother?
The game's going to be at the Rams' home field.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
SoFi Stadium.
So I don't even know what that means, SoFi, but whatever.
I think it's Southern.
Who cares? I'm not giving them a plug.
Anyway, by the way, brother, we are allowed to call it the Super Bowl. You know this.
Thank you, brother.
But we cannot have any promotion with it. For those who are already starting to hear stuff like, well, yeah, we're
the big game.
We're going to be giving away a TV and you can watch the big game with it. That's their way of saying we can't use Super Bowl, which is a trademark, copywritten, like 14 other ways to sunset, protected by the NFL.
Yes, all of the let's just call them electronic stores.
Yeah,
they will all be selling massive televisions, so you can watch the big game.
The big game. If they were smart, they'd copyright that too.
Well, I don't think you can. That's too generic a term.
It might be.
So, anyway, brother, we have the Rams. I was impressed with the Rams yesterday. I'll give them that because they didn't play well in the first half.
Right.
And they played very well in the second half. They finally figured out a way to get to Jimmy Garoppolo in the fourth quarter. That's the 49ers quarterback. They finally figured out and the Rams pass rush, and this is why and I'm calling it now. I'm not even waiting the 2 weeks. I'm calling it now. Bet the Rams, give the points. The Rams are going to terrorize Joe Burrow. And I would not be surprised, and I hate saying this because I hope everybody stays healthy, but I would not be surprised if the Rams knock Burrow out of the game. Because the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line is, in a word, weak.
Right.
All right? Burrow got sacked 9 times in the previous playoff game.
Okay.
All right? So what do you think the Rams? The Rams with Aaron Donald, who still has one of the top 3 motors in the game, and Von Miller, the sack machine that they picked up from Denver, in all of this like star grabbing that they did in the middle of the season. They got Von Miller and they got Odell Beckham Jr. and they traded away their first round picks until 2024, I think it is. They don't have first round picks for the next at least 2 drafts. So basically, the Rams are all in with this team because they're not going to be able to draft anybody who's really any good.
But you know, with this year's draft coming up, they're going to be the last pickers anyway. So,
but you still need picks in the first round and in that top 30 or 32
right.
to get the best talent. When your first pick isn't going to be until like 63 or something, you're not going to keep maintain a level that has gotten you to the Super Bowl, because players are going to want to leave. Even though Odell Beckham Jr. is talking all kinds of this is a great team, so professional. First of all, how does he fit in with that? I mean, he's barely ever been a professional a day in his life.
He's loving LA. That's what.
Well, but is he going to take less money to sign there? Is the question, and the answer to that is more than likely not. So the question after the Super Bowl for the Rams is how they're going to keep a team together, or if they can, but. This Rams team was put together to win a Super Bowl, and they struggled after all of those trades were made because Beckham had to learn the offense, and Von Miller was kind of getting used to his role because he was used to doing one thing, but that's what Aaron Donald does for the Rams. Now it's basically they both come in off of an edge, one's on the right, one's on the left, and they just try and meet in the middle, and they're going to meet in the middle a lot when they play the Bengals.
Yeah.
Because, again, the Bengals had the choice in this year's draft. Do we draft Joe Burrow's buddy, Jamar Chase, out of LSU to give him a target at wide receiver, or do we draft the best offensive lineman available so that Joe Burrow doesn't suffer another ACL like he did last year? So coming back into this year, I mean, he's coming off a knee surgery. Nobody really remembers that, but this is a guy whose 2020 season ended being carted off a field. So the Bengals decided, hey, well, let's go with Joe's buddy from LSU. Give him a guy. Hopefully, it'll make them both want to stay long term, because I'm sure that's what Cincinnati was thinking when they made the draft pick. Is let's get these guys together, and hopefully they'll want to stay 10 years. As opposed to, we'll get an offensive lineman, and if he doesn't like it or whatever, then he's going to be gone after 4 or 5 years when his rookie contract is over. So it keeps both of them happy. It keeps them both familiar, and now that they're good already, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy when you win.
That's right.
So I can tell you right now, Cincinnati's first pick in the draft that's coming up will be a lineman, offensive lineman, undoubtedly. But that doesn't help them in the Super Bowl.
No, but I think the way that you look at how the Bengals have been playing, they've been playing scrappy and tough, and getting by.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so if that's the case, you know what? One more game, this season.
Anything is possible. I'm not gonna say that the Bengals can't win, but I think the difference in the game, and we all know, brother, I'm really good with the picks on this show.
Sometimes, brother. Sometimes you forget.
I think I'm looking at probably about 85%.
I think sometimes you forget when you don't get it right. I didn't say that, did I?
So, I'm not saying that the Bengals can't win, because it wouldn't shock after the 2 wins that they've gotten already. It wouldn't shock. I mean, I was very surprised that they won yesterday. I will say that. I thought the Chiefs. were going to win that game. I thought it was going to be close, but I thought the Chiefs would win. I didn't expect Mahomes to have the terrible second half that he had. But I would be very stunned if the Bengals, because let's also remember this, brother. Who beat the Bengals earlier in the season? The New York Football Jets beat the Bengals.
Never been called that.
All right.
By chance, brother. Let's be honest.
34-31.
Chance.
The Jets scored 34 points on the Bengals.
Okay. Well,
so I think Matthew Stafford, I'll give him a little bit of credit over Zach Wilson, and I'll give the entire Rams offense credit over the Jets offense. And I don't know what the situation was back then as far as injuries or COVID or anything, but the New York Jets, that was one of their big. There was that win in the Titans. They also beat the Tennessee Titans. Those were the 2 best wins of the Jets season. The Jets only had 4 wins, but those 2 were highly unexpected.
Sure.
So when you look at that as well, and I will mention the Jets beat the Bengals this year. The New England Patriots did not. So that's another feather in the cap. Are you looking for a pen, brother?
No, I'm looking to change my seat.
All right.
Don't like these seats.
So, as far as the Bengals go, it's 3.5 points right now. It started at 4. It's already gone down to 3.5. Believe it or not. I will give the 3.5 all day. If I was actually betting the game, I would wait.
Which you don't do, by the way.
No, I should, but I don't. But I would wait and see if it goes down to 3, because obviously 3 is a way better spread to bet than 3.5.
Right.
But I was shocked. I was shocked when I heard it was 4 and it went down. I figured it would go up. I figured it would go to 5, like fairly quickly.
Right.
But I can't see the Bengals. First of all, and the other thing you have to remember with the Bengals on defense, Eli Apple. Oh, is he a terrible player? I am so glad the Giants got rid of him. And apparently he was talking smack on Twitter to one of the Rams guys. I don't even remember which Rams guy. Eli Apple should not be talking smack to anybody. He should be just thanking his creator every day that an NFL team still wants to pay him.
Right.
He is so bad.
Why is he
still
around?
Cooper, if Eli Apple somehow is matched up with Cooper Kupp could catch 20 passes in that game. That's how bad Eli Apple is. That to me is on offensively. That's the matchup that the Rams need to exploit, because the huddle, it'll be Matthew Stafford is the ball's going to whoever Eli Apple is covering, and let's get it done. Just go 10 yards and turn, and the ball will be there, and you will be open, or go 20 yards. Go as long as you want. But let's get some yards. He is a terrible corner, and that's the guy the Giants drafted. I don't even remember how many years ago.
Well,
it was like 4 or 5. Terrible draft pick. Did nothing with the Giants except show he was awful. His mother got involved with the GM, which was just a horror show.
Do you mean like dating wise?
No, like not dating wise, like was criticizing him publicly.
Oh, okay.
Like his mom was LeVar Ball.
Oh, well, who doesn't want LeVar Ball then, brother?
For somebody's mother, it's bad enough when it's the father. It's even worse when it's the mother.
Yeah, well.
So I don't see. I just don't see the Bengals winning. I can't. Maybe it's close. Maybe it's a touchdown. But I see. I mean, the closest I can see this game being is like 34-27.
I think this could be a close game. I think the Rams are winning, but I'm not surprised if Cincinnati wins. I think, like I said, they've been scrappy all year. I think this is a team that, it's...
Yeah, they have a little bit of an it factor. I'll give them that.
Yeah, they have something, I think the fact that they've made the finals, I think is final Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
I know, but I fall into their trap of calling it the Super Bowl. It's the finals.
Call it the big game.
The big game, brother, yeah. For the big game. So it's nice to see a team make it who, really shouldn't be there. So, what do you got, brother? You can talk in that mic, brother. Move on.
I was saying to elaborate, brother. That's all. Tell me why you think what you think.
Well, I think the Bengals are this team that they make the Super Bowl. Okay, this is what no one really expected this year. And so if you're a team that gets someplace where you're not supposed to be, a lot of times that carries you to winning. And I think that's going to be the thing with the Bengals this year.
It certainly can. I mean, the Bengals to me, and I'm going to throw it back to brother because I know you're going to love this reference because it was one of those times when you were correct. It was back in, what was it, 2018 Yankees, was it?
Yeah.
Where they're a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Because here's Burrow and here's Chase, and they're obviously the studs of the offense. They have Joe Mixon as a running back. So the offense is pretty much set, except their line is awful.
Yeah.
Or it's I'll say it's mediocre, because it's not even as bad as the Giants' line, but the Giants were 4-13 this year, so you don't want your offensive line being compared to theirs. But the point being that they got into the playoffs with, what, a 10-7 record, I believe it was?
Yeah.
So, they barely got in.
But I was right about the Yankees.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well,
so I'm saying that the Bengals are kind of right now in the same place where that Yankees team was in 2018, where we thought, all right, it's going to be a year of development, and Aaron Judge is going to get more at bats, and Gary Sanchez, and there were a lot of young players who were going to establish themselves.
Right.
And the Bengals are there, but oh, holy cow, they're in the Super Bowl. It's like the whole plan has been accelerated a year, because I could have seen this team being a serious contender next season, right there with the Buffalo Bills. I don't even know who else I could say. Obviously Kansas City should be around, depending on what their salary cap issues are. And, Mahomes' contract starts kicking in, and he gets really big numbers, which is going to make it hard to assemble talent around him.
Right.
That's why. And you know how many times I've talked about windows with quarterbacks. Well, Joe Burrow is in, his second year, I guess it is. So this is year 2 of 5.
Right.
Where the quicker you can get that into that window, that's why I keep talking about with Zach Wilson is he actually going to be the guy, which I hope he is. I mean, he had a pretty good rookie season, but when you look at the quarterback, and that's why I think Daniel Jones is a disaster, because Daniel Jones is going into his 4th season, and he hasn't shown he's got any capability of getting it done.
Right.
So, with Joe Burrow already being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, the Bengals now have a 3-year window here.
Yeah.
But it should have happened in year 3, and instead it's happening in year 2. So
take it.
Hey,
but one more thing, we mentioned that the SoFi Stadium, and that's the Rams' home stadium, but this is the Super Bowl, and the tickets don't go out to the home team the way a regular home game would be. So
no, season ticket holders. The NFL says, take it easy. Somebody else will be sitting in your seat.
Yeah. So the advantage that Los Angeles might have being home in Los Angeles is more they don't have to travel. And
the advantage is they get to stick to a more normal routine, and they get to go home at the end of the day.
Right. Though I think the second week they'd probably stay in a hotel just to keep.
They probably will, just to avoid distractions and to keep guys focused. But this was, the Super Bowl had never had a team playing at its home stadium until last year.
Right.
It never happened, and now it's happened 2 years in a row.
Well, a lot of times they had in New Orleans, so that wasn't going to happen.
Well, the Saints have had some good teams. There was possibilities.
Not during those times when they were playing the Super Bowl.
The Giants and Jets only had the one shot, and neither one of them was really all that good that season.
And that was actually a good game, and it didn't snow.
I was so hoping it was going to snow. I was so disappointed it did.
It was, and the next season it did. The next season was horrible.
Yeah.
But the game when they played at MetLife Stadium, it was
nice weather. It was like 40. It was like 40, 45 degrees.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And one more thing about L.A.
Yes.
I hate to say it, but when Los Angeles played the 49ers, guess what? A lot of 49ers fans came down from San Francisco.
Yeah, I noticed that. At one point, I heard so much cheering, because I had just turned the game on. I missed some of the first quarter. But I had turned the game on, and I heard so much cheering for the 49ers. I was like, wait a minute. The Niners are the 6th seed. This game can't be in San Francisco. So why is there that much cheering for the road team? I couldn't believe how many 49ers fans got tickets.
Yeah, well, it's
pay through the nose for those. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, but it's a 7-hour ride. It's not bad. They don't mind driving. Here in New York, 7 hours. Imagine you're on the road for 7 hours, you'd kill someone.
Canada, 7 hours. That's around the corner.
Yeah, or if you're
hockey players that I used to cover in college. That's all. I would tell them when we were driving down to Maryland. I'm like, oh, geez, they're like, I got to drive 4.5 hours. Like 4.5 hours. It's like down the road. What are you talking about? They don't care.
What about our cousin Tommy when he used to live in Iowa? And he went to a couple of Chiefs games, like 6 hours away. And,
did he? Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, it was only 6 hours. I'm like, 6 hours?
Dude, I drove that time when I went with Dave Rosenbaum when I was working up in Albany.
Yeah.
And Bob got us tickets to the American League Championship Series. The Blue Jays were playing the Minnesota Twins. Dave and I drove to Toronto, watched the game, went out to a bar, and then drove home.
Yeah, well.
All right. By the time we got home, it was like 4 a.m. or so. It was just ridiculous to drive to Toronto and back in the same night. It was like 5-6 hours each way.
It's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I was driving. He was sleeping. It was like 3:30, and I finally said, "Dave, you got to wake up." I said, "I'm about to fall asleep, and we're going to die."
Well, we don't want that. Anyway, you're listening to 90.3 WHPC from the Press Box here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We were just a couple of minutes late because of a train, Long Island Railroad.
Yes, many delays, signaling delays or whatever. Signals.
You know what they have to do? They have to take
signal switches.
Every signal has to be uncovered from the snow.
Well, so I don't know if that was the case or what was going on. I know that 2 trains passed us going west.
Right.
While we were sitting at another, or while we were just stopped. And normally my train gets in at sometime around 8:15 or 8:20, and by the time this one got in today, it was about 8:52 or something like that. So
okay, I didn't get an accident getting coming here. So
not. Anyway, I'm not going to rip the LIR for.
No,
I mean, they got the service going today anyway, and after a foot of snow or more,
well, they canceled Saturday. It screwed my whole day up. So
but hey.
Anyway, we're going to take a break right now, and if you'd like to call in with a comment or question, give us a call, 516-572-7440.
Okay.
Go.
Tell your friends about the Nassau Morning Madhouse. Hear what you're missing.
Check it out.
You ever seen a dead body?
You know, I haven't. You never went to a funeral?
Are you serious?
You see a cold one all the time.
A cold one. It's not a beer, Jimmy.
I love funerals because I get to speak at the podium.
What? Like,
We're gonna miss dear Bradley. He was loved by many. He survived by his young.
Wait, time out. Do you You're not.
You know how people crash weddings?
You crash a funeral?
You crash funerals?
For good reason. I just want to speak.
Oh my God!
Wait, hold on.
Stop.
Is this a joke?
And no one asks you who you are?
I get looks, but then I'm in and out. Seriously, I would never show up to a mob funeral. That's respect. You gotta,
That's respect. I don't respect these guys.
Nassau Morning Madhouse. Weekday mornings from 7 to 9. Yeah. On the voice of Nassau Community College.
90.3 WHPC.
Shake off the realities of the day, broaden your musical horizons, and embrace the diversity every Monday afternoon at 5 for 2 hours of Revelations. The show offers a potently unique collection of music with an emphasis on themes and rock rarities, an occasional tour de force of blues and soul, mixed with compelling sets of folk and folk rock. I'm Steve K, and I've got the perfect soundtrack for your drive home every Monday afternoon at 5 on Revelations, right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
All hit music. For all those songs radio has forgotten about, join me, Big Ed, Mondays from 10 a.m. till noon for The Good Gold Show. We'll bring back all the great hits of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and more. The sounds of doo-wop to disco, all the Motown, soul, and great rock and roll. We'll even take your requests and dedications to The Good Gold Show.
Music.
On the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and streaming on the iHeartRadio app.
The Abbott and Costello show theme. From what I've been told, they just remastered the entire 2-year television series of Abbott and Costello. Literally making them better looking than probably when they were made. I haven't seen them yet, but that's what my friend told me because he did some work on it. Anyway, I also feel like with the Abbott and Costello theme is usually with the Yankees, the game would end. It would be like 20 minutes after the hour they'd play the last 10 minutes of Abbott and Costello. But since it might not even be a baseball season this year, maybe we'll be playing more of Abbott and Costello. We don't know. Anyway, you're listening to 90.3 WHPC from the Press Box here every Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. It becomes a podcast later on nccradio.org, iHeartRadio, TuneIn.com, Odyssey, Spreaker.com, and Spotify. The Giants have a new GM, Joe Shane, and they also have a new head coach, Brian Dable. Both are rated from the Buffalo Bills. Former Dolphins head coach and Brooklyn native Brian Flores was a finalist for the job, but Shane clearly went with someone he is more comfortable with and has a history with. Dable was the offensive coordinator with the Bills, helping turn Josh Allen into one of the best QBs in the league. And, maybe the Bills start to stink after this. Who knows?
And some stellar analysis, brother.
Thank you, brother. So it's nice that they got him before the Super Bowl, but, maybe they could have got someone else. But Giants need all the help they can get, and sooner the better. Probably works out better with them.
Well, here's the keys to these moves, because there are a couple, and I think it was absolutely critical as far as hiring a general manager that the Giants finally went outside the building, because they haven't done that in more than 40 years.
40 years?
40.
Bill Parcells?
No, just somebody who doesn't have connections to the Giants.
Okay.
It's always been somebody who worked for them or as an assistant or came up through, they hire them from other teams maybe, like with Gettleman, but it's somebody who has Giants connections. Joe Schoen does not have connections with anybody in the building. And that's a good thing, because Joe Schoen needs to come in with an axe. And he needs to start chopping, because there's a lot of dead wood in there. And he needs to get rid of it.
Yeah, but will management, will ownership allow it?
Yeah, of course they will. They hired him.
I don't know. Yeah.
They hired him to get to work. The Giants, and we've said this before, the Giants are a mess right now.
We know that.
And that's why when I look at things and I say, hey, you know what? The Cincinnati Bengals had the worst record in football 2 years ago. Now they're going to Super Bowl 2 years later. That's why when I say that, I can say, hey, Jets fans, you got a little bit of reason for optimism here. I don't think the Jets are going to the Super Bowl next year, but maybe in 2 years. It's possible. With the Giants, they'll be lucky if they're a 500 team in 2 years, because Gettleman has left them in such bad salary cap shape. There's not going to be a whole lot that Joe Schoen can do for the next 2 years. And I listened to the press conference. I've read the stories. This guy seems to know what he's doing. And I like what I'm hearing from him, because it sounds like he's got a good head on his shoulders, and it sounds like he's got a clue in terms of what he wants to do and how to get there. Now, that being said, when your team already is projected to be $5 million over the salary cap for next season, there's not a whole lot you can do besides try to trade some guys, try to trade some of your bigger contracts, and hope you get really lucky in the draft. Now, the Giants have the number 5 and number 7 overall picks, so you better, it's not even a matter of getting lucky. It's a matter of making sure you pick the right guy. Because if you screw up the 5 and the 7, or one or the other, that's going to set you back. But the nice thing about picking at 5 and 7, you're almost guaranteed to hit a home run. So I would love it if at least one of those picks was an offensive lineman.
Okay.
Hell, I would love it if both of them were offensive linemen, to be honest with you, because that to me is a desperate need for the Giants. And without money for free agents, I don't know how they're going to upgrade the line. But the line desperately needs to be upgraded. So we'll see where that goes, and we'll see some of the moves that Schoen is able to make. The other interesting part of this is that Dable was the only offensive-minded coach who interviewed for the job. Everybody else was a defensive guy. Flores is a defensive guy. There were a couple other guys who got second interviews. All of them were defensive guys. Now, I genuinely think that Dable got hired because he had history with Schoen, and Schoen knows him. But I think part of the reason, or a big part of the reason why he was hired, was because the Giants have no choice but to stay with Daniel Jones.
Well, they have to, brother. They can't give up on him yet, even though I would, but you can't.
Here's two reasons why you can't.
I know. Yeah, I just said that.
No, I'm saying here is two reasons why you can't do that. And number one, it goes back. We just said the salary cap. So if you can't, you can't spend the big money to sign a quarterback. You can't even spend little money to sign a quarterback. So Daniel Jones is your guy. Number two, there is not a franchise-altering quarterback in this draft. So even if you were going to decide and make a decision, say, hey, you know what, Daniel Jones isn't our guy for the future. Well, this is not the year to replace him. Because if you pick a quarterback, let's say you pick a quarterback with the number 7 pick, unless every draft analyst and every NFL player evaluator is wrong, there is not a quarterback that's going to be worth drafted at number 7. And then you got Daniel Jones all over again. You got a guy who was drafted wildly too high, who is never going to fulfill that potential, and now you're running on a treadmill again for four more years. So go with Daniel Jones, see what he does. If he does anything to merit giving him an extension, which I'll be honest, I don't think he's going to. But John Mara, the quote at the press conference for Joe Shane was John Mara saying, this is a quote, "We've done everything possible to screw this kid up since he's been here. We keep changing coaches, keep changing coordinators, keep changing offensive line coaches. I take a lot of responsibility for that." I mean, that's incredible for an owner to actually acknowledge that, hey, I'm a big part of the problem here.
Yeah, but he doesn't get fired, Tim.
Well, I know, but that's
why you could say that. And your fans say, "Oh, look at our owner. He takes credit for the team being crappy."
Yeah, but not many owners would actually say it. But I get what you're saying. That yes, the problem is that the Mara can't get fired, and maybe he should read back his own quote and say, you know what, maybe I should just let the football guys handle stuff,
right,
and stay out of it. And just let the team make me a whole boatload of money. So, Dable, and this is the other thing. Shane is 42. Dable is 46, which I find an interesting dynamic. But Dable is replacing, obviously, Joe Judge, who went 10-20. This is the Giants' 4th coach in, 7 years? Joe Judge went 10-23 in 2 seasons. Ben McAdoo went 13-15, and Pat Shurmur went 9-23. All of them got 2 years. Now, I hope Dable gets more than 2 years because I really do think this is going to. The Giants are in such a shape right now; it's going to take more than 2 years, and I hope the fans are patient with this guy because I don't think the Giants can possibly get out of the hole they're in for at least 3 years, and it's probably going to take 4. Because they're going to have to go through drafts. They're going to have to get their salary cap straightened out. There's a lot to do.
That's true. A couple of more things before Big Ed shows up with the Good Gold Show at 10 o'clock.
Yes,
Tom Brady, he's retiring. No, he's not retiring.
We don't know what he's doing.
We don't know what he's doing, but we do know that in a week or two, if he's still technically on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which means he can't retire, he gets a $15 million bonus. And people have said, well, he doesn't need the money. If someone gave you $15 million and you were a $100 million, heir, $15 million is still pretty damn good.
If he gets to $15 million, would he be obligated to play next season? That's the question.
I don't think so. But either way, I still think he's going to come back. But
because we said last week his base option salary for next season is $8.5 million. Brady's not playing for that.
Yeah. So, but if you get the 15, it's probably why would you wait? That's the thing. Why would you wait until after a certain date? That part I didn't understand.
That all goes back to salary cap ramifications.
I know it's to get around it and stuff, but exactly. I just. It seems why would you think of even retiring until that paycheck comes along and you cash it? It's like, oh look, I just got $15 million. Oh, that's not a lot of money.
Thank you. Adam Schefter from ESPN says Brady is retiring. Brady's father says no decision has been made.
And we should say his father's his agent, right?
No.
No? I thought his father was his agent.
He's just his dad.
Oh, okay.
Tweets have been sent and deleted. Nobody, I don't know. I'm not even sure Brady knows what he's doing right now.
He's waiting for the $15 million.
You're obsessed with the $15 million already, brother.
Because if someone gave me $15 million, I'd be really happy.
I'm aware. You said it before.
I'll say it again.
There were reports this season that there was some friction with the Bucks. So I don't. The thing with Brady is if he doesn't want to stay with the Bucks, and I don't know that they would be able to put together a team as good as the one they had last season that won the Super Bowl, then Brady would have to go somewhere else. And I don't know that at 44 he wants to start shopping for a new team.
Right, and he wants to be on a team that has a chance.
Right, exactly. He's not going to go to a team that's going to win 9 games.
He's not going to the Jets or Giants.
No.
Though I would think that would be an incredible thing. Okay, brother. Australian Open.
Good tournament. I stayed up to watch the women's. The women's tournament final started at 3:30 in the
Rafael
morning.
Nadal lost the first 2 sets, but then rallied to defeat Daniil Medvedev. So
2-6, 6-7, 6-4, 6-4, 7-5. The match lasted 5 hours and 24 minutes.
That's
brother.
a long time.
I don't even like watching television for 5 hours and 24 minutes. Rafa Nadal and Medvedev played tennis for that long.
Well, you remember
how much weight did they lose?
Our tennis expert Dan DeRosalia has always said knock the men's down to 2 out of 3. So.
It was nuts. And if they would have done that, then Medvedev would be the champion.
He would have been. Okay, quickly.
But Ash Barty, brother. The real news from that was Ash Barty winning the women's tournament and becoming the first Australian in, I believe it was 44 years to win the Australian Open.
Oh.
And then she beat American Danielle Collins, and Collins was up 5-1 in the second set and just unraveled completely. It was sad to watch. It really was. Because I was excited that there was going to be a third set, and there was Barty was going to be feeling that hometown pressure, and that Collins might be able to steal a Grand Slam, and she literally fell apart. It was sad.
Well, Barty is now the princess of Australia,
yes,
or the queen, because they love their tennis.
She'll never have to buy a beer again in her life.
No. Okay, let's quickly get to the Islanders. They lost 2 in a row, 3-2 to the Kings and 4-3 to the Wild. They are in 6th place in the Eastern Metropolitan Division.
Not looking good for the Islanders.
Islanders have only played 37 games. The only other team that's close is Ottawa with 38. Everyone else in the Metropolitan is either 42 or 43 or 44, 45 or 46.
Yeah,
so
but the problem is,
the Islanders are
you looking at the standings, brother?
I am looking at them right now.
There is a top 4 and a bottom 4.
Yep.
And there is a massive split in between the two of them. The Islanders, to get to the playoffs, the Islanders are going to have to catch, right now, the Washington Capitals in 4th place.
Good luck.
The Islanders are 21 points behind the Washington Capitals right now.
Yep.
That's a lot of points. I don't know that can be made up.
Yeah, unfortunately, this would be a nice season to have the UBS Arena inaugurated with some playoff games too.
Well, I don't think Islanders aren't playing that great at the UBS Arena.
Well, like I said, it was.
They had a good little run. They were like 7-1-2, but the last 2 at home losses, they got to figure it out. I don't know how they're going to figure it out. And this season, it might not happen this season. It might take until the off season to figure it out. And Lou might have to start doing some work because
that's if Lou stays around.
They might need a little bit of an overhaul, little one. I'm not talking to tear it down and massive changes, but they might need to make us some tweaks.
Anyway, the Nets, which we've been talking about, they are not doing well right now.
Dropping like a stone.
They're 29-20. They are in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. That is not good.
I know. You know. I was looking at the standings, and it was almost like, when did that happen? Because the Nets, I swear, 2 weeks ago, the Nets were either one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, and now they are 6th in the East with a 29-20 record. The Nets are 6-11 in their last 17 games.
Yeah, horrible.
And right now, the big 3 are all hurt or not playing if it's a home game, because obviously Kyrie with his COVID shot.
Right.
But James Harden's got an injured hand. Durant is still out with the MCL, and he's going to be out for a few more weeks. The Nets, you can only do so much when your best 3 players aren't available in the NBA. That's just how it is.
And the Knicks are in 12th in the overall Eastern Conference. Julius Randle is not making friends anymore in the Garden.
Numbers are down. Remember when I said, brother, like months ago, that Randle signing the extension was a great thing for him, because I didn't know if he was going to be able to repeat the season.
Right.
And I also thought it was great for the Knicks because if he did repeat the season, they got a bargain. Well, Randall's numbers are down. The Garden fans are not happy with him.
No, you can't do that to the fans of the Garden. They'll go for you if you're trying, but he's not trying anymore.
Sometimes he is, but
Not
also
really.
he's I can agree with some of what you're saying.
And today is deadline day, brother.
Deadline day
in the Premier League.
Well, in soccer in general, everywhere. Just tune in to whatever live updates you can get. The money is going to be splashed. There's going to be 50, 60, 70 million pounds, dollars, whatever. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of money spent today.
Yeah, so lots of money. See, this is what I like. Get the money going.
Well, they should have been doing it.
I'm talking about our leagues in the United States.
Well, all I know is the transfer window closes at 6 o'clock our time. It's 11 o'clock in England tonight. But that's when the window closes. So much of it's going to happen today. It's all posturing for 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, all of these presidents and caretakers and whatever start saying, "Oh, we got to get players. We got to get players." Take care of business in the first 2 weeks.
Well,
I'm sick of this.
They don't do that. Anyway, you've been listening to 90.3 WHPC, the voice of Nassau Community College, and don't forget about 2K Hits every Sunday at 6 p.m. Love the boy bands? Well, not really. Early 2000 music, yeah, I can take that. You'll love 2K Hits then. DJ Sass plays all your favorite hits from the first decade of the millennium. That's 2K Hits every Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC. You want to talk about the original boy band? Beatles, baby, every Friday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC, hosted by me. Good show today, brother.
Yes, brother. I'd like to say one last thing.
What's up,
to
brother?
Daniel Levy. Back Conti. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but...
It means get some players.
Oh, okay.
Tottenham, spend the money.
Tottenham, that's right. Tottenham, that's right, yeah. Ed loves Tottenham.
He does. He does.
He loves. He says, I wish I was born in Tottenham. That's what he says. Anyway, thank you for listening. Big Ed's coming up next with The Good Gold Show. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.